Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers of Cricket Happenings. This is your host Ram, welcoming you to your daily edition of the Cricket Happening show. And well, it's going to be three match summaries today. One is the test between, because of three matches, so I wouldn't be able to go into much detail, but I will just cover the salient features of the match. The first thing that I'll be covering will be the first day's play in the second test match, which started between New Zealand and India. And one has to say that New Zealand definitely got some assistance with the pitch, as it was a good toss to win, I reckon, for New Zealand, because they really had. In fact, India were the ones actually won the toss, and India decided to bat first. But definitely, I would say the initiative was taken by New Zealand because of the very good nature of the pitch, which was assisting the bowlers early in the morning session. And in fact, I thought the New Zealand bowlers did a very good job to have India at 239 for 7 at close of play on day one. That is something that I look at. And then the next match were definitely Quinton de Kock. As I said yesterday, that AB de Villiers not there in the South African team, it was 50%. But this man really made up for the absence of AB de Villiers on a very good batting pitch where runs were absolutely there for the taking. It was the caning from the bat of the Australian bowlers, just done by the South African opener Quinton de Kock, who almost was on threatening the highest ever individual score scored by a South African in one-day international cricket, which stands in the name of Gary Kirsten, who actually hit 188 runs, but he finished 10 runs short, I reckon. Yes, it was Quinton de Kock actually finishing just 10 runs short. What a knock that was. In fact, he took them to victory. He made 178, and what was good about it was the way he was playing with the Australian bowlers. It was a high scoring game, but in the end it was South Africa who were the victors. So South Africa starting off the one day series on a very good note here, winning the first match by 6 wickets. And as far as the first ODI between Pakistan and West Indies was concerned, well, once again, Pakistan, in fact, for Pakistan today, it was Babar Azam, who always has looked a very good batsman, as I said. Mickey Arthur has also come with high praise for him. Nice technique, and also he played some nice strokes, as he was the one who nurtured the Pakistani total to 284, which eventually proved to be too much for the West Indies, as Babar Azam got his maiden century in ODI cricket. So that was good to see that Babar Azam finally has flowered fully with his maiden century. And then finally, West Indies were the ones who were chasing the total, but they were in absolute trouble. Even though one could say that the target was reduced because of Duckworth Lewis, 287 runs from 49 overs, but I would say the West Indies again had their fallibilities against the spin bowlers. And if you look at it, it was spin bowlers who took the majority of the wickets, and so West Indies' woes against Pakistan spin bowlers once again continued, as West Indies caved in for 175. They all out for 175, registering in a big victory for Pakistan by 111 runs, and thus taking a 1-0 lead in this ODI series, which is basically a three-match series. So, and Babar Azam was the man of the match. So one by one, I will be going through all these matches now. So first, let's head up to India versus New Zealand and see what really happened. So both the teams decided for New Zealand, as I said, Jeetan Patel came in, and also Matt Henry was given an opportunity with Tim Southee not there. Matt Henry definitely made it count. And let me also tell you, India won the toss, and India probably felt that this pitch would not. One does not know what is the reason. Probably they felt that the pitch might turn on the final day. So once again, New Zealand were going to be caught on the last day, and in the India started off with Shikhar Dhawan actually opening with Murli Vijay. And what one saw in the morning session on this particular pitch at the Eden Gardens, this is a relayed pitch, Eden Gardens. This was the first match played after the pitch has been relayed, and one has to definitely say it definitely assisted the pace bowlers. Trent Bolt was looking good. I mean, there was real assistance. There was some grass on the pitch. The ball was moving about. They were getting some very good bounce, and Matt Henry in particular was really worrying the batsman. And in fact, Matt Henry was the one who provided the breakthrough when he forced Shikhar Dhawan to chop on to the stumps for one. So that was the first wicket. After that, Murli Vijay, what a delivery from Matt Henry. A beautiful ball which actually pitched in line and then actually took the edge off Vijay's bat. It actually squared him up and Vijay was gone, caught behind for 9. After that, we saw Virat Kohli come in and definitely struggled. In fact, New Zealand have a definite game plan as far as Virat Kohli is concerned. Neil Wagner peppered him with bouncers, and it was really tough, I would say, that they definitely had a game plan. First, they started peppering him with bouncers, then Virat Kohli creamed a beautiful shot through the cover region for a boundary with Bolt, but Bolt kept on plugging away, and finally it was Trent Bolt who forced Virat Kohli to play a shot wide outside his off stump, and in the process Latham holding the catch in the slips, and he was gone for 9, and India were in real trouble with the pitch really assisting the bowlers, and Matt Henry who came coming in place of Tim Southee doing a wonderful job as the score read 46 for 3 for 46 for 3 at that time. After that, we definitely saw a big recovery being done, and this recovery was done by Cheteshwar Pujara, who really showed, I mean, he was absolutely not really not worried about the situation. He continued to play his strokes, and he was the one who was confidently dealing with the Kiwi bowlers. At the other end, Ajinkya Rahane was also doing a good job, and both were combining into a very exciting partnership. In fact, it was a 141 run partnership that happened, which helped India recover from a very shaky situation at 46 for 3 to 187, with Pujara, as I said, played some beautiful shots. I mean, if you look at his innings, it was started with 17 boundaries, so that will give you a hint of how well Cheteshwar Pujara played. Driving was impeccable, 87 with 17 boundaries. At the other end, it was Ajinkya Rahane absolutely proving his worth as he kept on getting the runs, as he made 77 with 11 boundaries, and then finally the stand was broken. So that was the bigger stand, 187. Then we saw Rohit Sharma being scalped for 2. This was Jeetan Patel putting in a quicker delivery and picking up his wicket. So Jeetan Patel also doing his job, and also Ajinkya Rahane was LBW bowled Patel for 77 with 11 boundaries. Ashwin towards the fag end of the day was claimed LBW of the bowling of Matt Henry for 26, finally leaving Ridhiman Saha on 14 and Ravindra Jadeja on naught. And definitely the pitch eased out. In the morning session, there was a lot of juice in the wicket, which was exploited beautifully, I thought, by the New Zealand pace bowler, especially Matt Henry. And 239 for 7 was the final tally for India at close of play on day 1. So New Zealand definitely taking the honours there. Matt Henry, 15 over 6 maidens, 3 for 35, 1 for 33 for Trent Bolt, 2 wickets for Jeetan Patel, and 1 for 37 for Neil Wagner. And Santner was wicketless. So that is as far as the story for the India-New Zealand game was concerned. Now let's have a look at the match, the first one-day international that happened between South Africa and Australia. As I said, one thought that with AB de Villiers not being there, things would be pretty tough for the South Africans, but on a very good pitch, which was full of runs at Supersport Park in Centurion, runs were just cascading. In fact, Australia were the ones who actually batted first on this particular pitch, and they raised the score it was South Africa who actually won the toss, and Australians were the ones who were inserted into bat, and the Australia raised a score of 294 for 9 on a pitch which was really easy for batting. David Warner contributing 40 of 36 deliveries with 5 fours and 1 6. Aaron Finch making 33 of 28 deliveries with 4 fours. And definitely one has to say that the Australia's opening exchanges were very good in the sense, even though Australia were batting, Dale Steyn did look listless. Kagiso Rabada could not hit his straps. Wayne Parnell was taken for runs, and it only took the bowler whose name is A.L. Felikavayo, who really impressed with his bowling, and he was the one who stood out with bowling figures of 10 overs, 1 made and 44 runs and 4 wickets. He picked up 4 Aussie scalps. And looking at the Australian card there, then after that, with Stephen Smith was out cheaply for 8, LBW Fulakawa for 2, and we had Bailey, who actually revived the Australian innings with a knock of 74 of 90 deliveries, 7 fours and 2 sixes. Mitchell Marsh contributing 31 of 25 with 5 fours and 1 6. Travis had 18 of as many balls with 2 fours. But definitely required a sort of a late impetus, and that impetus was given by John Hastings, who raced on to his maiden 50 in ODI cricket with a very good knock of 51 of 56 deliveries, 6 fours and 2 sixes. Zampa was out for 12. And finally, Australians posted 294 for 950 overs. As I said, the South African bowlers today not looking their self. In fact, Dale Steyn, if you look at his bowling figures, he had 2 for 65 of 10. Kagiso Rabada going for lots of runs, 10 overs, none for 63. Parnell 8 overs, went for 56 with 1 wicket, but Felu Kavayo was the one who impressed the most with 4 wickets for 44 runs. Imran Tahir 1 for 46 and Behadeen 2 overs, none for 15. As far as South Africa were concerned, they were chasing a total of 295, and look at what happened. First and foremost, the South Africans got off to a breezy start, thanks to, as I said, the pitch was pretty easy. There was a lot of runs to be gathered on this pitch, there was no doubt about it. But Quinton de Kock was absolutely superb with his knock. What a knock, as I said. He made 178 of 113 deliveries with 16 fours, 11 6. Absolutely toyed with the Aussie bowling. And what was good about Quinton de Kock was that he was cleanly and crisply striking the ball. He was lofting the ball very well. He was driving the ball beautifully through the cover region, and anything which was coming onto the pads was absolutely dismissed with disdain. And it was going on in such a manner, as I said, the Australians had absolutely no answer to Quinton de Kock, and he rode in a merry manner as he hammered 178, his 11th one ODI century. And Quinton de Kock, as I said, is a specialist ODI player. 178 of 113 deliveries, 16 fours and 11 6. And in the combination with a very good opening partnership with Really Rosu, also another talented bloke. And today he also took full advantage of a very good batting pitch as he went on to clip the Australian bowlings to a knock of 63 of 45. There was 10 fours and 1 6. And the partnership between Quinton de Kock and Really Rosu setting the foundation as they raised 145 for the first wicket. Du Plessis made 26 of 36 balls, 1 4. Dumi was out for 9. But Quinton de Kock, as I said, not only did he play his strokes, and the final analysis, he had so much of control over his batting. As I said, anything which was bowled to him was dismissed absolutely in a very wonderful fashion. And he was timing the ball to a nicety there. And Quinton de Kock was taking full advantage of a wonderful batting pitch which was there at the Super Sport Park in Centurion. And then finally, towards the end, he was literally toying with the Aussie bowlers. Those 11 sixes. Look at that knock of his 178 of 113 deliveries, 16 fours and 11 sixes. Marvelous sixes at that. And that's it. So South Africa winning their first ODI and taking a 1-0 lead in the 5-match ODI series. The bowling, Worrell, 7.2 overs, no maiden, was taken for 50 runs. Hastings 7 overs 52, Boland 7 overs 3 for 67, Mitchell Marsh 66, Adam Zampa was really scattered all around the park by Quinton de Kock. 5 overs 1 for 44, and Travis had 2 overs none for 16. And Quinton de Kock very justifiably taking the Man of the Match award. Now let's look at the other match which I'm talking about is the first ODI between Pakistan and the West Indies. And today It was a matter of seeing whether the West Indies had learned their lessons and they could actually come and handle the Pakistani spinners. Once again, for West Indies, it was once again it was the spin which brought their doom. So for Pakistan, it was a very good victory for them, no doubt about it. So this was played at the Sharjah cricket ground, and Pakistan were the ones who batted first, and they put on 284 on the board, and it was this 284 basically was really spurred on by a wonderful knock from Babar Azam. Babar Azam, as I said, is very technically perfect, and his driving was good. He was really, playing beautifully, and as I said, he has a lot of a person who can, has a lot of time to play the ball, plays the stroke late. Definitely has some very good reflexes and a very good eye, and that's what Babar Azam showed in this innings. And he was definitely getting a lot of useful knocks, but today it was a wonderful knock which helped his team as he got 120. He's made an ODI century of 131 deliveries, 8 fours and 3 sixes. Pakistan definitely lost Azhar Ali very cheaply for a blob as a very furious delivery. In fact, the Pakistan innings started off in a very horrible manner as the Pakistan captain Azhar Ali got a very fast delivery, 145 kps delivery coming in from Shannon Gabriel, which actually snaked away, and he was caught by Ramadan for a blob. Shahjil Khan had his struggles with West Indies, knowing that Shahjil Khan is very strong on the leg side area. They tried to actually block him in that area, even though initially he did get away with some very good strokes. And Shahjil Khan is very strong on the leg side. He's predominantly a very strong leg side player. But we also saw that Shahjil Khan today showed another side of his game as far as the offside is concerned, because when the West Indies actually blocked his leg side play, he decided to go aerial over the offside. So that was the knock. Babar Azam making 120. Other than that, Sarfaraz Ahmed made 35, and the Pakistan making 284 for 9. I'm not going to go into the bowling figures of the West Indies here. 3 for 54 for Brathwaite, and 1 wicket apiece to Gabriel, Holder, Ben and Nareen. And as far as the West Indies were concerned, given a target of 287 runs, they continued to struggle. Their struggle was against the Pakistan spinners. If you look at the spinners, Imad Wazim was not, even though he took only 1 for 36 of which it was this time, it was the Mohammad Nawaz off spin which really started it all. 10 overs, no more than 4 for 42. And if you look at the West Indies card here, it does not make any happy reading. Johnson Charles was gone for 20 of 21 deliveries. Brathwaite 14. Brathwaite opening the innings with Charles, so a good experiment being, it was Craig Brathwaite who actually came in and was actually making his ODI debut today, and it didn't really work out. Bravo 12. Marlon Samuels 46 was the highest scorer, and then Dinesh Ramadan again they struggled. The West Indies batsmen definitely struggled against the spinners. Dinesh Ramadan 8, Kieron Pollard could make only 9, Jason Holder 1, Brathwaite 15, Sunil Nareen 23, and it was a real struggle for them as the West Indies caved in for 175, as they definitely couldn't find a solution to play Pakistan spin, as the Pakistan spinners totally dominated, with Mohammad Nawaz setting the trend there, 4 for 42, and we had 1 wicket for Imad Wazim, and also the pace bowlers also did it, because of the spinners actually coming in and having throttled the West Indies. It was easy meat, I would say, for the other pace bowlers. Wahab Riaz 1 for 27, Mohammad Amir 1 for 21, and 3 for 14 for Hassan Ali, who impressed with his bowling today. And the man of the match was Babar Azam, without a shadow of doubt. Well, dear fans and subscribers, it's about time for me to end this cricket show and tell you that I'll be back tomorrow. Till such time, it's good night.